Hey guys, this is Jay from Air J Heating and Cooling in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Today I've got a trainer set up here. I've got an old furnace here in my garage that I use for training purposes. And today we're going to talk about condensate lines. I've set up a old evaporator tray on this top of this furnace, and I've plumbed in a condensate drain. I don't have a float switch or a secondary drain. I have all that plugged up right now, but you can see I've got a P-trap set right at the condensate drain. I have T's before and after the P-trap, and they're capped right now. The drain goes down to the floor here, comes back up about 16 inches into a bucket, and that would simulate a typical drain that we see here in Florida, where the condensate drain will actually go under a slab and come out into the garage, or I'm sorry, come out into the yard somewhere and then stick up out of the ground. And we've had problems in the past with when we come across systems that have two traps, and I've always heard from technicians and contractors and blah 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 that never put a double trap on a system, and but I've never had it explained exactly why you don't do that. So I figured I would make up a little trainer here and figure out why this happens. What I'm going to do here in a minute is put some water in this drain, and most people's logic would tell them that as long as this water is going in a drain higher than where it's coming out, that we would have no problems draining this water out of this pan. And this is a freshly vacuumed drain line here. I've hit it with the vacuum. I've pulled all the water out of both traps. There's the vacuum. How's that? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some water, slowly dribble some water here into this evap pan and fill this system up. See if we can get some drainage going here. This is simulating a nice hot day in Florida where we're making tons of moisture. And we've got a garage out in the, or a air handler or a furnace out in the garage. We see that quite often here. And if it was an air handler, this would all be below it, but if it was a furnace like this, it would be on top. But I'm running some water in this drain right now, and I'm assuming the first trap is filling up, and then it's heading down to the second trap. Just keep filling this guy up. I don't want to fill it up too fast and overflow it, or I'll have a condensate drain mess in my garage. But right now it's hard to see, but the water is about halfway up the outlet of this evaporator pan. I'm going to continue. I'm stopping here just for a second. I'm sure the first trap is filled up, but so far we're not seeing any drainage on the second trap or on the outlet of this condensate system. So I'm going to put some more, whoa, easy pal. I'm going to put some more water in here. Now right now the water level is almost to the top of the outlet of this pan. It's approaching the very top, so we're getting really close to where it's going to go overboard. And there's still no drainage. It's hard to get over here, but there's still no drainage at the outlet. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more in here because we're at the very top of the outlet. So right now, we're just about ready to dump water in our garage floor. Let's see if I can get this over here. It's tough to see, but this water is already over top the outlet of this drain system, and we haven't got a drop out of the outlet yet. Most guys I've talked to about this, they would say, yeah, it should drain, it's higher than the outlet, blah blah blah. But we've got something going on here. What I'm going to try to do, I've also heard guys say that you need a vent after the drain trap, after the first drain trap, which would be this guy. I got a vent here and I got here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this one. I'm going to take this guy off. You can see nothing's happening. Nothing going on, nothing changed. We still got a bunch of water in our pan. So now I'm going to pull this trap off here. And I'm going to get up here close, see if you can hear it. And there we go. We've got a bunch of water draining really nice now out of our system. And what's going on here is we're double trapped, which isn't good to start with. We all know that. But our trap on the ground is 16 inches high. Trap up here is about 2 inches high. This P-trap is about 2 inches high. As soon as the water starts going into this outlet, into this trap, it'll fill this trap up, which creates an airlock between here and down here. And a little bit more water will start putting water down into here. And then this trap will start filling up. And of course, this trap has to fill up 16 inches on both sides before it comes out the outlet. And what's happening in here is, as this water is filling up into here, the air is now trapped. There's air trapped in this pipe right here, because we have a water trap right here and we have a water trap down below. So there's air trapped in this pipe. As this water raises up, it pushes against that air, and slightly the air is all of a sudden getting pressurized. And since this trap is 16 inches tall, this trap is only 2 inches tall, this air pressure that's building up in here pushes the water back through this trap and doesn't allow any more to drain. So it continues filling up the pan. We can vent right here like I did. Nothing's happening because we have a water trap right here and we have a water trap down here. And we have trapped air in here. But when I opened up this vent right here, that released the trapped air in this system. So gravity does its work now. It doesn't have to work against air pressure that's building up into this pipe. So the water drains perfectly normal. Now I can put this cap back on, and I'm going to get my hose again, and I'm going to turn it on again. I'm going to fill this thing up again. Now at this point we have both traps full of water. We have no trapped air in there because I had the lid off. I put the lid back on, and our air conditioners run again in Florida. It's nice and hot and muggy. We're making a bunch of condensate. And now we look down here. We're draining perfectly normal. As quick as I put it in, it's coming out. And here's the problem. In this condition, with no pressure built up in this line right here, all the traps are filled up with water, and there's no way to build up any more pressure in this system. It'll drain perfectly normal until the next time somebody vacuums out the drain. And then it'll go to the same condition that we started at. We fill the thing up with water, and it's not going to drain. And then you're going to have a drain mesh, and you're going to be thinking there's dirt or something in this drain, and it's not there. It's not a dirt at all. It's just physics. So what it boils down to is, first of all, you don't want to put two traps in a system. A lot of times there's two natural traps in a system all the time because there's sags in the line and who knows what's going on underground. But as long as the trap outside isn't higher than the trap up here, you can essentially run with two traps. And if you do run with two traps, always vent in between the two traps and a higher area than the first trap. And it'll vent perfect. It'll drain fine. But normally we remove these traps, and if it's got one in the ground, we remove it. And sometimes vent it anyways. Even if it does have a trap there, we usually pull them out. But this is the reason why these systems will sometimes drain and sometimes they won't. And one of our biggest callbacks, of course, is condensate drains. usually because of dirt, but every now and then we run into something like this where somebody double trapped it and it worked fine until somebody vacuumed it out and pulled all the water out of the traps, and then as soon as it starts working it plugs up again and they're calling us wondering why their garage is full of water. But hope this helps, and like I said, try not to double trap if you can. Sometimes it's going to happen no matter what. You know, the codes require a trap on it somewhere, and you may have double traps and sags in the lines going through an attic or whatever, and you have to put a trap somewhere in the system. We typically put it outside for the inspector to see it, and you still may have double traps in the system that can cause you problems like this. So if you're in doubt, just put a vent somewhere in this thing to where if it is double trapped, it'll drain properly. Make sure that vent's higher than anything else, so that a float switch or something will shut it off if it does build up, if it does actually plug up with dirt or something. But hope this helps everybody. Talk to you later.